You're pulling the trigger and moving to Columbus, Ohio. Let me be the first to welcome you. Unfortunately, moving can be a nightmare, especially when you're moving to a city or area you're unfamiliar with. Where should I live? What type of housing should I be looking at? What neighborhood should I be searching in? Are the schools any good? And how do I even start looking for a house? All common questions I hear almost every day. Well, in this video, I'm going to break down the top mistakes people make when moving to Columbus, Ohio, and it's the ones I see over and over again. I'm going to talk about the best ways to search for homes, taxes, what websites you should be using, because I don't want you to make those same mistakes everyone else is making. And it all starts right now. So let's go! If this is the first time to my channel, my name is Mark Van Stein. I make videos on what it's like living in Columbus, Ohio. I cover things like the best schools, neighborhoods, areas, pros and cons, and all things you need to know about living in Central Ohio. I want to give the viewer a really good understanding on what it's like to live here. If you find the video helpful, please hit that thumbs up and down below. It just lets YouTube know that, hey, Mark's doing a good job. If you're trying to learn more about Central Ohio, make sure you subscribe because I'm making new videos every week, not only about Columbus, but it's many suburbs as well. Most importantly, if you're thinking about relocating or moving here, make your life a little easier. Let me and my team help. I'm a licensed REMAX Realtor and have been helping people move and relocate to Columbus for almost 2 decades now. I'm actually a 3rd-generation real estate agent. My family co-owns our company. So you know that I am totally invested in the industry. Well, maybe too much. You can call me, text me, shoot me an email. I literally get people reaching out every week, and I love to help. So many people who reach out to me for help moving here have the same questions. That's part of the reasons why I created this video series. I don't want you to make the same mistakes everyone else is making or have any regrets. My big saying is I want everyone I work with going into the situation with their eyes wide open. So let's break down the most common mistakes people make when they're moving to Columbus. Number 1 is they don't do their financing up front. Now, if you're paying cash for a property, this is probably something you won't have to worry about. But if you're planning on buying a property and taking out a loan, you're going to want to get your financing set up prior to starting your home search. And there's a really good reason why. I see so many people start their home search without truly understanding their financing. Then things go sideways. They start looking at properties at a higher price point than they can get approved for, or something outside of their comfort zone. Once engaged, they have to take a step back and start looking in a different price point, and that's hard, really hard. I highly recommend getting all your financing in place prior to starting your search for a number of different reasons, which I'll go into a little bit deeper in this video. Along those lines, I would highly suggest working with a local lender here in Columbus. Now, if you have someone whom you have a good relationship with in the city you're moving from that can do loans in Ohio, then great. But if not, like I said, I would engage with someone local for a couple of different reasons. Getting home loans is getting more difficult. The lenders keep asking for more and more information. I mean, at some point, they're going to start asking for a pint of blood. You want to get a loan from someone who you have a good relationship with, who, if necessary, you can sit down in front of and have a conversation. I have so many clients who try to use these internet lenders, and lots of times they have issue. It's hard to have a relationship with someone who's just a voice on a telephone, and to whom you're just a number. The other mistake home buyers make is not talking to a few different lenders and lending institutions. I always recommend speaking to at least 3 different ones, as well as different types of lenders. Every lender will have a similar product, but you really want to find the right one for you. Obviously one that has the best terms as well. Luckily, having been in the business for such a long time, I know which lenders have the best interest rates and terms. So I can help guide my clients. If you need a couple of names of lenders in Columbus, please reach out or drop a comment down below. I'm happy to help. Next is taxes. If you've watched any of the other videos on this channel, you know I talk about property taxes quite a bit. For good reason, because they can be extremely high in Columbus and it affects your monthly payment dramatically. Taxes can add hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month to your payment. They add up quickly and can make a huge impact on the cost of housing. When you're looking at different areas around Columbus, it's important to make sure you fully understand the property taxes and how they are calculated. It can get a little bit confusing, even for me sometimes. Unfortunately, there are so many variables that go into it, it's really hard to give an average for one specific area. I get asked this question all the time. Hey Mark, what are the property taxes like in Dublin or fill in the blank area? Well, in Dublin, for example, you could live in the city of Dublin or you could live in the city of Columbus. You could also possibly live in a township. That township may or may not have its own fire and police departments. You probably see where I'm going. But the good news is that the Delaware and Franklin County auditor sites, which are the two main counties that make up Central Ohio, have good tax estimator tools. Just plug in the address of the property that looks interesting, and most importantly, add the new value, and it will give you an estimated yearly taxes. So when you're looking at different areas, don't forget to check out the property taxes and how they're calculated. It might be a little bit confusing, but it's worth taking a look at. Trust me, it can make a big difference in your house payment. Number 3 is searching for homes online. The way Central Ohio has been divided up with its cities, counties, municipalities, townships is quite confusing. What you have is the city of Columbus, which has sprawled outward and intertwines with these municipalities and suburbs. I'm told this because as Central Ohio started to sprawl, these suburbs needed sewer and water access, so there were land swaps between the city and the suburbs. For people moving to Columbus, it causes a big headache. If you're looking in a geographic area, it's not so bad because of today's map style searches. But if you're looking for a specific school district, be careful. I'll use Powell where I live as a good example. Powell's on the north side of Columbus and in the Olentangy School District. However, the city of Powell stretches south down into Worthington and west over into Dublin schools. So you can have a Powell address and possibly live in 3 different school districts. There is a neighborhood on the west side off 33 that I get called on all the time about, called Ballantrae. It's a very nice golf course community. It's home to the Dancing Rabbit. If you've been looking at homes online, you may have seen the big statue of a rabbit at the children's water park. It's cute and very popular. Ballantrae has a Dublin mailing address and the neighborhood is right next to the city of Dublin, but it's Hilliard schools, not Dublin schools. So if a specific school district is important to you, when you're searching online, search via the school district, not an area, a zip code, or a city. You will save yourself a lot of time and heartache. Speaking of searching for homes online, which website are you using? Most people I talk to are either using a website like Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, or maybe it's a brokerage site like a REMAX.com or a Coldwell Banker. The reality they have to explain to people is that all that data on all these websites is pretty much the same. It's just presented a little bit differently. Each one of these websites will come into our local MLS and download the data to their specific site through a data feed called an IDX. MLS, if you're not familiar with the term, stands for Multiple Listing Service, and it's the database that we as licensed realtors use. These sites download the information, then display them on their sites for the consumer to take a look at. So there are a couple of problems depending on which site you are using. First, these sites are collecting your information. Even if you're just searching and haven't submitted any contact information, they still know the IP address you're searching from. Then, God forbid you submitted your name or sign up, you will be bombarded with calls and ads from service providers. You have to understand this is how these sites make money. They sell your information to third parties. There's an old saying that goes back to the 70s and originally had to do with TV, but it's even more relevant today. If you're not paying for it, you're not the customer, you are the product being sold. And that's exactly what these sites are doing. They're selling your information. But that's not even the biggest problem with some of these sites. A bigger issue is how inaccurate the data is. I get calls all the time from people asking about homes that are no longer available, and I have to tell them that it's under contract already. And I always get the same response. But I see it's on this website and it still says available. What the general public doesn't understand is that many of these sites aren't licensed real estate companies, unless it's a specific brokerage like a REMAX.com. Even Realtor.com isn't a licensed real estate company. They're a data company. Their business model is to make money selling data. And whose data do you think they're selling? What I do for our clients is provide them with their own search site through our MLS system. The advantage is that our clients can search for homes just like a licensed realtor can. One big benefit is its real-time data. They know instantly when a new home comes on the market or if it's even still available. Also, my clients have the ability to search by hundreds and hundreds of different search criteria, not just the dozen or so that the portals offer. Want to look for a distressed or foreclosed home? My clients have that ability to search for that criteria as well, a feature you will not find on the other search sites. My clients love it for obvious reasons. How can I afford to offer a service that other agents in Columbus can't? Well, I pay a lot of money for it because I buy our IDX feed through the same software company that manages our MLS, and it's just a perk that they offer. Unfortunately, because of its cost, I can only offer it to our clients. But if you have any questions, please reach out to me directly. Lastly are going to be the closing costs or costs associated with purchasing a property. Every state has different real estate laws, and every municipality and real estate board do things a little bit differently. So if this is your first house or your 10th house, you want to really have a good understanding of your financial responsibilities at closing. Not enough people have an understanding of what their closing costs are going to be or what they're going to be paying for. Until they get to the closing table, then they are a little shocked. Unfortunately, with the way real estate works, both buyers and sellers get feed to death. You have title fees and county fees and transfer fees and lender's fees, you name it. Luckily, after the 2008 meltdown, the lending laws changed now, and lenders have to give you a more accurate estimate of what your closing costs are going to be. So hopefully, there are no big surprises at the closing table. In Central Ohio, the sellers are usually responsible for two of the most expensive costs of a real estate transaction. The first being the real estate commissions, which can be a huge chunk. This is a conversation you're going to want to have with your realtor and verify you want to have a good understanding how your agent's being compensated by helping you. Secondly is the title insurance. In Columbus, it is customary for the sellers to provide an owner's title policy to the buyer at closing. However, this varies from city to city. In Cleveland, for example, it's customary for the buyer to purchase their own title policy. It's always my advice that you have an owner's title policy when you're purchasing, whether you're purchasing it or the seller is providing it for you. Whatever the situation, it's important to try to understand these costs up front so you can plan and budget accordingly. These are just some of the common mistakes I see people making when they move to Columbus, Ohio. I hope you found the video useful. If so, do me a favor, give me that thumbs up down below. If you have any questions about what I covered, about Columbus or real estate in general, just drop them down in the comments below and I'll answer them as quickly as possible. Of course, if you are moving or relocating to Columbus and need some professional help, give me and my team a call. Moving, trying to find a house, trying to figure out where to live can be nerve-wracking. Let me and my team make your life a little bit easier. You can call me, text me, email me, my contact information down below and in the video. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my new videos, what it's like to live in Columbus, Ohio. Until next time.